Hello, and a good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to you, the gun people of the tube. Hope you're feeling grand, and always in your world. Hello, everybody. Today's vid, everybody, we're going to do a comparison between, I can't speak very well, the Ibanez WH10 V2 that is here, just off camera, and basically the Ibanez WH10 clone inside the G5n. After doing the John Shanty video the other day, this has made me interested. This has made me curious, not interested. Well, interested, I suppose, same thing. Interested and curious. Both those things. Anyway, so today we're going to do a kind of like a back-to-back comparison between the two and see how close they actually are, because I'm just curious. I'm very curious. And also, the really, really cool thing is because the Ibanez are not readily available. They're just not. You know, they're really hard to come by. V1s are impossible to come by, and if you do find one, they're ridiculously expensive. There's the V3, which I just can't seem to find anywhere for sale, which is weird. And then there's the V2, which is the one I've had forever. You know, I've had the V2. I've been using the V2 since I got into the Ibanez War. So because they're hard to come by, the G5n. G5n's replica, if you will, of that, if it is in the same ballpark, is a good way to go. And not only the fact of you have the Ibanez wah kind of sound in this thing, you've also got distortions and delays and all sorts of other stuff. And I love this thing to pieces, apart from these stupid panels on the bottom. But the pedal itself sounds insanely good. I love this thing so much. I was playing on it the other day and I was just like, oh, it sounds so good, but why the stupid scroll function, Zoom? That's what came out. The devil in me came out there. Anyway, these are just dumb in every way, shape and form, in my opinion. Anyway, so yeah, without further ado, let's get into the comparison. So what we're going to do, we're going to use Mr. Oswald here, and we're just going to go on bridge pickup. We're not going to go to neck or middle, we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to stick to bridge pickup, because that's where you get the most kind of throat, if you will. And what we're going to do, we're going to do a comparison with it kind of through a cleanish tone. So the John Shanty-esque kind of cleanish tone. So it's not really, really clean. The Ibanez Wah doesn't like that anyway. You get the volume spike and stuff like that. So we won't be doing like that thing. So with this pedal board, the main board here, there'll be the Marshall jackhammer on to simulate that kind of compression overdrive, which I spoke about in the other John Shanty video. To control it, and the Ibanez Wah V2. And then when we switch over to the Zoom, it'll be the Wah 100, and we'll have the MS 1959 Marshall Plexi amp head model going to simulate, basically, again, an amp. The Marshall MG is just set clean. We're going to be using basically pedals. So basically, the jackhammer on this board, Marshall 1959 kind of head clone on there. And then basically you've got the Wah 100 set up in here and the Ibanez Wah here. So I'm really curious about this because another really cool thing as well is if you were to use this, if you were after that John Shanty thing, you can use this for your kind of like, your core kind of tone, so to say. So you can use the Marshall thing to simulate like John's Plexi kind of clean tone, dirty clean tone. And you can also use this for chorus, delays, and all that kind of thing. And then what you can do is have the Ibanez Wah in here, and then you can also stick a DS2 on the other side, which means you've got the setup. You know what I mean? And you've also got fuzzes in there as well. And you've got everything in there. It's just ridiculous. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do like I say, do a comparison with it kind of on that dirty, clean John tone. And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick on the DS2. We're going to do a comparison with it with distortion. And it'll be the DS2 on this board, and it'll be the Metal World distortion on the Zoom G5n. So we'll just do two comparisons between the two. So dirty clean and distortion. See how they respond. All on the bridge pickup. Actually, I'll tell you a lie. We're going to do the clean one on the bridge pickup, and we'll do the distortion one on the neck pickup. And then we get kind of like a nice little kind of variation instead of just being one pickup. So clean first, dirty clean first with Ibanez Wah, jackhammer, and Marshall 959 head thing and Wah 100 in there. And then we'll switch over to jackhammer, DS2, Ibanez Wah, WH10, Marshall 959 head thing, and metal world. And I say it'll be bridge pickup and then neck pickup as well. So without further ado, let's dive into this. There will be a tiny bit of reverb coming from the amp. I will have the reverb set on 2 on the amp. Other than that, the amp's going to be clean. All the work's going to be done via the pedals. So, without further ado, let's get on with this. So, oh yeah, pedal board first, zoom, pedal board, zoom. Okie dokie people of tube, there you go, there's the examples. I've just had a listen back to the audio between the two. The zoom's darker. It's a lot warmer in its, especially the clean tone, you can really hear it. It's a lot darker than the Ibanez Wah. The Ibanez Wah has a lot more highs to it. That could be due to this setup being different to that one, but I managed to match these. Well, match them as close as I could in another video I did a while back, where I got this sounding as close as I could to this, so, you know, they sound tonally the same, so I'm not really going to go into the idea of kind of like, you know, it's dark or because of the way this is set up, because they kind of like, they're pretty much identical, like within, like, you know, within reason. So I found this to be a lot darker, but it still had the right tonality, you know what I mean? It still had the same response as the Ibanez Wah. On the clean sound, they felt the same. They sounded pretty much the same, but like I say, the zoom was darker. There's no doubt in that. The Ibanez is a lot more cut, a lot more, like, you know, it's a lot more aggressive. The zoom is a bit more kind of pulled back, but it's got the right tonality, and it's got the right feel. And also the pedals themselves, when you're stood on the Ibanez Wah, the sweep, it pretty much feels identical to that. It's bizarre. You know, the only thing that's different is my toes hang off the end of the Ibanez Wah, and they don't on the Zoom. I actually prefer the bigger foot plates of a Wah pedal to the small ones like the Ibanez. But I'm not, you know, that's nitpicky stuff. But I'm not bothered. But you know what I mean. I like having my entire foot on it. I don't think it gives you any more control. It's just a comfort thing more than anything. But so tonality wise, I thought the Zoom was darker than the Ibanez, but the Ibanez cut more. But they both felt very similar and both had the same kind of characteristics, if you will. Like that's what I felt. Anyway, they're pretty much, I don't want to say dead ringer for each other, but they're definitely, you know, a ringer for each other. You know what I mean? They sound the same in that kind of way. But, you know, tonality-wise, the Zoom's darker, yes. But tone-wise, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, you could get away with using this as that. You know, I'm sorry it's off camera, everybody. But, yeah, you could easily get away with using the Zoom instead of an Ibanez. No issues there at all. I mean, the thing is, too, is like, you know, it responds right as well, which is so key when it comes down to an Ibanez. Because the Ibanez responds in a way that not every wah pedal does. It's really unique in the way it responds, especially with that boost function on flat out. So it responds in the same way, and that's really cool, and it sounds really nice, and it feels really nice as well. The Zoom feels nice to play. The foot pedal on this thing is fantastic, absolutely amazing. You know, stupid panels, scroll functions be damned, this still is a pedal I would recommend. It's so good. Just tonally, it's just amazing. It's just worth it for that. So, the distortion is where it went a bit awry for me. I didn't like the highs in the Zoom so much when the pedal was toe down. It was a bit, you know what I mean, a bit catty, you know what I mean. Whereas the Ibanez it never quite got to that point. But the problem is, the way I've got the Zoom set up, with the WH10, is I have it set up with the low frequency all the way down. So you get when you're in heel down, you've got the most lows, and when you're toe down, you get the most highs, which works really well when you're on a clean tone. But as soon as you add the distortion in, that high gets boosted. So like on clean, the high's like here, but when you kick distortion in, it notches it up, and it's not. It's not that it's bad. It still does it does that crazy John Wah thing, but it's not quite the same as the Ibanez Wah. That could be because I'm not using a DS2. So what we're going to do at the end of this video really quickly is we're going to plug the DS2 in on this side, and we're going to see how this WH10 responds to the DS2. Just out of curiosity, and that'll be the end of the vid. But yeah, so the highs in this weren't great, but that could be because they're reacting to the, what is it called, the Metal World patch, pedal, if you will, in a funny way. You know what I mean? It might not be, it might not like it so much. Clean, and also, it was still darker as well. The Zoom was still darker than the Ibanez was with the DS2, but again, you know, it is what it is. It's not the it's not a kind of like, it's not a deal breaker. So be that for what it may, people of the tube, I really think that's close. It's in the ballpark, if you know what I mean. It's not 100%, nowhere near. But I don't know a single wah pedal that is 100% near the Ibanez wah. It's really its own thing. But who knows? I mean, that could sound more like a version 1. You know. I've heard people say that the version 2 is quite bright. The version 1 is darker. So who knows? This could be more like a V1. Without a V1, yeah. If I ever get my hands on a V1, we'll do the test again, and we'll do a shootout between the Zoom, the V2, and the V1. So if I get my hands on a V1, we'll do that. But yeah, I mean, I think it's really close. I personally think it's really close. It feels right when you play it, which is wicked. And it still does a crazy John Wah thing. I'm really curious about the DS2 though. We'll plug that in a sec. And it feels right. You know, and it tonally, I mean, darkness aside, it has the right attack. It has the right kind of aggression. It's got the right boost as well. It feels really good. It feels like bob on. So, you know, I would happily, if you can't get hold of an Ibanez, recommend this. The WH10 in this. I really do recommend it. And just to let you know, I've got it set it up. I have the frequency on 0. I have depth at 100. Dry is at 0, so there's no dry signal. And volume is at 100 as well. So basically, I'm getting the maximum amount out of that pedal. So yeah, that's that really, people tube. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. You know, what was your thoughts on it? You know, do you think it was close? Do you think it was far away? You know, and why? What was it about it that made you go, no, not quite, or yeah, not bad? Because I feel it's like, you know what? If I couldn't get hold of an Ibanez wah, I would settle for that. I'd be very happy with that. You know what I mean? It wouldn't faze me, you know, to use that as my wah pedal. And in all fairness, I really love the way this feels. I don't know why, but compared to the Helix, which is through there, funny enough, I haven't touched a Helix since the last video. I haven't gone near that thing. But the foot plate on this is really nice. It's literally, I think that's one of the nicest foot plates I've ever used on a multi-effects unit, that one there. It's so smooth, comfortable, it's expressive, and it does its job perfectly. And it feels, when you're doing it, oddly enough, it feels really like the Ibanez Y. It doesn't feel like my Vox Silvertop. The Silvertop's got a really loose top foot plate. But the Ibanez is a lot kind of like, it's not stiff, but it's got a nice action to it. You can really get a nice kind of slow sweep with the Ibanez. And you can do that with the Zoom here as well. You have to be a bit careful with the Vox because of the foot pedal can be so light. I mean, I'm sure I could tighten that up, but I just don't know how. But anyway, so yeah, people too, let me know what you think in the comment section below. You know, which one did you prefer and why? And do you think the Zoom got close? Because I think it definitely got in the ballpark. Was it 100% accurate? No. Was it close? Yes. You know what I mean? And like I say, I would be happy with that. And so I will recommend from this day forth, everybody, if you can't get hold of an Ibanez wah and you want one for that John Frusciante thing, Zoom G5. Can't go wrong. So, and again, nice and affordable as well. Really, you know, really quite affordable pedal with effects that just sound wicked. Distortions, delays, reverbs, so good. Amp models as well, they sound wicked. It's really good. Just this stupidity on the bottom is just major negative to me. Okay, so now what we're going to do, people of the tube, is we're going to how can we do it? Yeah, what we'll do is we'll just plug in the DS2 into the end of here. So we're going to come out. So we'll go from the MG into the Zoom, out of the Zoom into the DS2, out of the DS2 into my guitar, and we'll see how it responds because I'm really curious. Because it could be the Metal World pedal patch thing that's making the WH 100 scream like that. Because, like I say, it doesn't get those highs, those super highs it got with that just then. It doesn't get that when it's on a cleanish mode, you know what I mean? So, let's try the DS2 and see how it goes. So, back in a sec. Okay, people of the tube, we have the DS2 in the loop with the Zoom G5. It's controlling the volume jump. So there is no volume jump. This is going to probably peak the camera, but there's no volume jump and it sounds fantastic. It sounds absolutely wicked. So, love it. So, I haven't tried the wah yet. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't going to go crazy, and it didn't. So, we're going to get the SM57 plugged back in, and we'll give this a go and see if those highs are still there with that. If not, either way, job's a good one. So yeah, back in the moon. Well, next thing you'll hear is DS2 and this. So WH 100, DS2. Ha. Okay, people of the tube, that sounded wicked. And yeah, it does. It definitely gets rid of more of the highs. There's when I went to the Metal World thing here, you could hear toe down. There was so much more of that kind of cat noise, if you will. Whereas with the DS2, it was a lot more tamed. So jobs are good in there. That is wicked. So yeah. So if you can't get all of an Ibanez wire, everybody, you know, because they are hard to find and they are expensive, I recommend the Zoom G5n. I really do. I forget how much this thing is now, but again, it's so worth it for what you get, and also you get the thing. So if you have this and that, you're away really, aren't you? Let's be honest. That's crazy because that's just wicked. That is just wicked. That is just wicked. That's made my day. And I love the way this sounds with this. It's really warm, and I like that. So, yeah. So there we go, people of the tube. And like I say, you can do so much with this thing. It's just silly. Apart from these, silly things. But you can get it set up so you've got 4 effects here. Technically, if you were to kind of talk theoretically about a John Frusciante setup here. You could have the DS2 here, if you've got DS2. You could have DS2, set that up for the WH10, forgot what it was called. I know they call it the Ibanez WH, but it's not. The WH10 here. And then you could have a chorus, a delay. What else we think? You could have a step filter for throwaway television kind of sounds. And you could always have another delay if you wanted. For Don't Forget Me. 2 different delays. So you could have a proper John Frusciante setup with this thing. You could also have fuzz in here as well, so you could combine the 2. That'd be wicked. Oh my god. So cool. I would, in all fairness, I would go to a gig with just this. I've got this set up in such a way that it works for me. If I wanted to go to a gig with this, I could actually just gig with this unit. But there's no gigs right now, which is massively depressing. My last gig was in January, and I don't think I'm going to get another one before 2021, and that's really upsetting me because I miss gigging so much. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, David. Okay, so that definitely tamed the high of this. So that definitely is to do with the way it's responding to the Metal World distortion I'm using in here. I mean, in all fairness, you can tame that high by basically just not pressing down all the way on the wah. Don't go full toe down. Just kind of bring it to about there. Just control it, use your ear, and kind of control the wah. So that's not really an issue, to be honest with you. But I reckon it definitely sounded better with the DS2. My personal opinion. So yeah, that's it, everybody. So like I say, I recommend the Zoom G5 so much. It's such a wicked pedal, apart from these stupid things. But I still recommend it. I really do recommend it. It's such a good sounding pedal. It's easy to use, simple to dial in. It takes you no time at all to get used to it at all. And it's just great sounding. It's just so good, and it's so responsive. And there's not much you can't do with it. It's so cool. So yeah. So if you can't get hold of one of these, this has definitely gone in there as the next best thing to the Ibanez wire, in my opinion. Mr. Vox has been moved back to third position now because you have to use a distortion or an overdrive alongside the Vox Silvertop to make it do that. Whereas you don't have to do that with this. It's it's already programmed in. So jobs are good in. So yeah, if you can't get hold of Ibanez wire, get hold of one of these. And if you can't get hold of one of these, Vox Silvertop with a distortion or overdrive pedal. So I really want to try V1 because I'm curious if the V1 is warmer or darker than that one. I'd be curious to see. Anyway, yeah. So where are we? So yeah, let me know what you think in the comment section below, people of the tube, and I will see you again very soon for another vid. That's been interesting. That's really interesting. That's really cool. And I'm glad I can actually recommend something that isn't because like I say, these are hard to come by. I'm finally glad I can recommend something that kind of feels really close. You know what I mean? It's before it was the Ibanez wire was here and the Vox Silvertop was there, I've got a middle ground now, which is this, which I'm really happy about. So that's really, really cool. So yeah, Zoom G5n, everybody. WH100. Basically, what was it again? Set the frequency to 0, depth all the way up on 100, dry on 0, and the volume all the way up on 100, and you've got yourself an Ibanez WH10 wah clone that does the job nicely. So yeah, can't recommend it enough. Super cool. Yeah, and that's it, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this little comparison. I can't speak. I can't say that word very well. Comparison. I can't. Anyway, forget it. And yeah, I'll see you again very soon for another vid, everybody. Have a great morning, afternoon, and good evening. And yeah, goodbye now. Thank you for watching.